Alright, ready?
Which one are we doing, Dad?
Huh? Where's my pen?
I thought you'd be like, oh yeah.
Alright, so we got logs 6, 7, 8 for the test, right? 6, 7, 8 for the test. We want to do, we have to remember that we're going to be subtracting. Subtracting means division, right? So, remember, if we have x to the 5th, right, divided by x to the 2nd, that's equal to x to the 5 minus 2, right? So you subtract exponents. A logarithm is an exponent, right? So when we're subtracting logarithms, what we're going to do is divide their numbers, the powers, right? So when we condense, okay, then we're going to make this 135 divided by 5. Okay? Now the next part is, well, what is 135 divided by 5?
A number.
So it's 2. Oops.
It's 27.
Oh,
27.
sweet.
It's 27.
It's 27?
Yeah, I think. It should be.
Yeah. 25?
27.
27?
I think. Yeah.
Okay, so log base 3 of 27.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, and so when we think about log base 3 of 27, we could be done, right? Or we could think out loud, like, what is that? So we'll think if this is equal to x, then that means 3x is equal to 27. So how many 3's would multiply together to give you 27? Like 9 times 3, right? But what we want to think, not 9 times 3, we want to think how many 3's would it be? 3 times 3 times 3, because 9 times 3 would be 27, right? So how many 3's are there?
3.
3. So x is 3, right? So log base 3 of 27 is 3. And so that would be your answer, condensed. This would be one answer, which I would like to see. I want to see that. But then bring it down to 3. That way I know you didn't just plug this into a calculator and get 3. Okay? I want to see those steps. Okay, so for 7, it's the same thing, right? Here you go. Do you want the practice or the test? Okay. Alright, so for 7, it's the same thing. If we're adding, right? Think about this. If I'm adding, I'm really multiplying, right? So if I have x to the 5th times x to the 2nd, then that's x to the 7th, right? I'm adding those exponents. The logarithm is an exponent. So when I'm adding those exponents, what did I do? To get there, I multiplied, right? So we're going to take log base 2 of 64 times 4, right? 64 times 4 is 256. Is that right? Okay. And then again, we're going to think outside of the box. 2 to what power is equal to 256? Right? And by now you should know that 2 to the 5th is 32. Right? 2 to the 4th is 16. 2 to the 5th is 32. 2 to the 6th is 64. 2 to the 7th is 128. And 2 to the 8th is 256. Okay? So this should be x equals 8. So this equals 8. Okay? So I want to see both of those. Okay? On this number 8, we're expanding it. Am I even recording?
Yeah.
Okay. On number 8, we're expanding it. We're taking it out. Okay? So, I want to think of log base 5 of 5x squared and log base 5 of 8. But how do we get from division What did we do to get to division over here? Which one did we do to get to division? Add or subtract?
Subtract.
Subtract. So we're going opposite direction. See? Now we're pulling it apart. Okay? We're using the opposite rules. And then I want to go, okay, well, this one's multiplication, right? 5 times x. So what's multiplication?
Subtract and divide.
Plus.
Add. It's adding. Plus. Good. So it's going to be log base 5 of 5 plus log base 5 of x squared minus log base 5 of 8. Okay? So then I want to come back one more and go, what are we going to do with the power? Right? What's happening here? So we never talked about that. So if I take x to the 5th and I raise it to the 2nd, what happens? This turns into to the 10th, yeah. So we multiply, right? So when we multiply, we have a power of a power, right? Okay? So what's going to happen is we're going to multiply. Okay? So that's going to come out in front. So it's going to be log base 5 of 5 plus 2 log base 5 of x minus log base 5 of 8. Okay? Then there's one more trick. One last trick. What is log base 5 of 5? Do you remember what that was? Think. 5 to what power equals 5? 1, right? X has to be 1, right? So x would have to be 1. Does that make sense? So log base 5 of 5 is 1. And that's where it gets a little confusing, but if you get good at writing these, you're going to be really good at going the other direction. Because it's a lot harder to pull it apart than it is to put it together, I think. Except when they give you something like this. This you have to come up with on your own. You have to be, oh, a 1. A 1 is the same as log base, whatever this base is, of the same number. If this were base 8, it would be log base 8 of 8. If it were base 12, it would be log base 12 of 12. But it's base 5, so this would just turn into log base 5 of 5. And then you slowly put them back together. How's that looking? Not bad?